Welcome to battle number 5 of week number 7 of the FnF Victory Road Draft League. This is the battle pitting Butcher Blisseys, which is Fingered Witch as Noir on Pokemon Showdown, versus Dutch Inkays, which is Quest Requested on Pokemon Showdown. As a reminder, the Mega Pokemon we'll be seeing today are Mega Altaria. Mega Celix will not be joining us. And as another reminder, the Z Pokemon we have are Z Attack, Arcanine, and Z Any Blissey. Z Any Azumarill. Z Attack Hydreigon won't be joining on Dutch Inkays. Just a little preliminary look into these teams. We see Durant coming in. Big threat once Arcanine is taken down. It can do some massive damage to Butcher Blisseys, being able to sweep possibly after a single Hone Claws boost. So that's definitely something that Fingered Witch is going to want to watch out for. Another sleeper pick in this for Quest could actually be Hitmonlee, also providing some strong physical pressure that can do some massive damage to the team. It looks like Quest really went offensive this time instead of defensive. We don't even see a Moongus. And on Butcher Blisseys' team, we have Tentacruel coming in, which is going to be a Pokemon to look at. Tentacruel being able to handle a lot of the other team pretty easily, especially if it's a defensive variant. It could be pretty hardy. And Jolteon is going to give Tentacruel some trouble, but I think Lurantis and Mega Altaria can deal with Jolteon, as well as Blissey, actually. Joey is known for using offensive Blissey. I'm wondering if that will be the Blissey we see this week, or if Blissey will go for a more traditional setup, or maybe a gimmicky setup. There's a lot of things that Blissey could run that are unexpected. We see Lurantis as well, who could run a contrary set with Leaf Storm and Superpower. That might be something we see. And Arcanine, who was, I believe, the MVP of last week. So really exciting teams on both sides. Curious to see what they bring and how the teams do. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. I think we might see a Victini lead from Quest. Or maybe a Rhydon lead, actually, for those Stealth Rocks. Rhydon actually does pretty good versus Tentacruel because it could hold its own with Earthquake. Might have Focus Sash. Or Eviolite, that's actually the more likely scenario. Okay, Arcanine's the first one to come out. It's Jolteon, Mizar. Quest does like his pivots, so this Jolteon will probably be the one, will probably be a Volt Switcher. Big question is it Choiced or is it Life Orb, or does it have a different item? And then Arcanine is, it could run Mixed, it could go Attack, it could go Special Attack, or Mixed, and it is generally a pretty hard hitter. In comes Altaria, taking a Volt Switch, which does about 51%, that's big damage. Mega Altaria would have been able to take that hit pretty easily, but because it's in the normal form, Volt Switch is neutral. And Durant is the one to come out. Durant, of course, can threaten Altaria with Iron Head. In comes Jirachi. And here goes Durant, boosting up with Hone Claws already. I think Jirachi gets Fire Punch. So if it has Fire Punch, that could be a one-hit KO. Jirachi's going to have to be careful of X Scissor, which, I don't know, like, +1 Durant is extremely scary. That thing can wreck your team if you're not careful. Rhydon comes out, taking that Thunder Wave with Lightning Rod to be safe. And of course, Rhydon can threaten Jirachi with Earthquake. Looks like Fingered Witch realized the naming theme of Quest, which is the Baryons from Yu-Gi-Oh! I believe Zexal is the one where the Baryons were featured. Alright, Stealth Rock is now up on Fingered Witch's side of the field. And we have Blissey coming out to handle Rhydon. What will Blissey do? No Pokemon lost yet. Blissey sets up a Reflect, taking that Earthquake like a champ. In comes Durant. And Blissey goes for a counter, but it fails because Durant was switched in. Durant goes for Hone Claws, and Blissey uses Seismic Toss to do about 38%. Durant's holding Leftovers. Interesting for a sweeper to be holding Leftovers rather than a move. Rather than an item like Life Orb, for example. One more Hone Claws could spell big trouble for Fingered Witch. Now the question is, should counter be used or Seismic Toss? Iron Head hits Blissey, and Blissey goes for the counter, taking down Durant. Pretty brilliant move there. That was risky gamble, but it seemed like it was worth taking. Alito the Hitmonlee comes out. Durant being taken down was probably a huge relief for Butcher Blisseys, as Durant can tear through the team if it had Stone Edge. It could tear through Arcanine even as well. Now Blissey's going to have to decide if it wants to stay in or switch out. I think the correct move would be to switch out. Indeed, that's what Blissey does, switching out to Altaria, who takes a Fake Out from Alito. One more move can take down Altaria. Altaria Mega Evolves and goes for a Roost. So Altaria is back up to 50% and has a Reflect, which allows it to comfortably Roost one more time. That Altaria saw death in its eyes and said, "No, not right now. I don't want to die right now." G-Rog, the Rhydon is here. I wonder what move Rhydon is going to use. I'm really curious as to why Quest chose to switch in Rhydon versus the Altaria. Maybe Rhydon has like Heavy Slam or something like that. And there's a brief exchange of Earthquakes, both doing around the same, actually, 26% and 27% respectively. Altaria going for that Roost once more, taking another Earthquake, which does about 25%, but the Reflect is gone. Earthquake now doing a big 47%. Mega Altaria is just going to go for that Roost once more, but 52% is what's done, so damage rolls could determine if it lives or dies next turn. Body Slam is going to hit, bringing it down, but it's ultimately going to go down to an Earthquake. In comes Lurantis. Now Lurantis can't go for a Leaf Storm here, which will take down Rhydon. Victini could be the answer, however, and Superpower is what Lurantis uses to boost its attack and its defense, but it's not going to want to take a V-Create, that is certain. Victini resists both Superpower and Leaf Storm, which are usually common moves for Lurantis sets. So Victini is a good check to Lurantis. Lurantis is going to have to be careful about what it does next. I think Tentacruel could be a good switch in. Vector the Victini, very threatening. In comes Tentacruel, as I thought would happen, and Victini goes for a U-turn, allowing probably Jolteon to come in. Indeed, it is Jolteon that comes in. Now Jolteon's free to Volt Switch. Will Tentacruel stay out or switch? Tentacruel is actually pretty comfortable against the other 4 Pokemon on the team, but Jolteon is the big problem for Tentacruel. And Volt Switch is allows Jolteon to pivot and take down Tentacruel at the same time. I think we might see probably Victini come back in. No, it's actually Azumarill. I'm wondering who we'll see. Lurantis could be an option, although Azumarill is extremely scary. It could use Ice Punch, it could use Belly Drum. It's not going to want to take Leaf Storm, that's for sure. Arcanine is actually what comes out, intimidating Azumarill. If this is a Belly Drum variant of Azumarill, it could set up its Belly Drum, which would also negate the attack drop from Arcanine. In comes Jolteon, taking that predicted Wild Charge, but actually it doesn't have Volt Absorb, so the Wild Charge actually does some damage. Interestingly enough, that means Jolteon probably has Quick Feet. Yeah, Quick Feet. And wow, Volt Switch does massive damage to Arcanine. Azumarill is the one to come out, taking a close combat. Now, Aqua Jet will seal the deal versus Arcanine. Arcanine goes for the extreme speed, bringing down Azumarill to about 51%. In comes Lurantis. I think we could expect a Victini switch-in, probably, or a Z Play Rough. Twinkle Tackle taking down Lurantis. Tough situation for Butcher Blisseys to be in. Blissey comes out, and Superpower takes down Blissey. The last Pokemon on the team is Jirachi. In comes Jolteon. It is immune to Thunder Wave. I think this is the third time that Quest calls out an electric attack and brings in Jolteon safely to it. And Thunderbolt does about 52%. Zen Headbutt doing about 55%. One more Thunderbolt is enough to take down Jirachi, and that is the game. It's a 5-0 victory for the Dutch Inkays over Butcher Blisseys. And this match was really showcased both of these trainers' fighting styles. Fingered Witch going for some of the more unexpected stuff. Blissey with Reflect and Counter. Definitely an unexpected move there. And then Quest going for that style of just pivot, put yourself in a good position, and then predict attacks. And I think that really played well for him this week. Jolteon definitely being very pesky with the really strong attacks. I think that Jolteon might have been choice specs. I don't see how Jolteon could have done that much damage, but then again, I think I underestimate Jolteon's special attacking capability. That thing is pretty damn strong. So well played from both sides. Definitely some good moments. And yeah, join in for some more Week 7 battles. We have 2 more left later this week. I'm Noel from Mystical Chain, and I'll see you then.